Yeah.
Chris, you can
Perfect.
see
That's crisp as fuck. How do I intro this? Alright. So we all saw It Chapter 2. These are my they call themselves my friends, I guess.
That's so
sometimes.
mean.
What is that? So we're here in Boston, Massachusetts, and we all saw It Chapter 2. My roommate Burke is behind the camera because he didn't see the movie.
it. Loser.
No, and I'm not gonna see it.
Why?
Because
spoiler later,
we're about to carefully explain
When the 4-hour
everything that fucking
extended
happened.
version comes out, I'm seeing it.
This is spoiler fucking warning right now. We're talking about everything, man.
Everything.
We have no list.
There's a lot to unpack.
But I have a feeling as soon as Toby starts talking,
It's just
we're-
gonna,
so
it's gonna be his video.
This is Toby, this is Lindsay,
Hi, Lindsay.
and this is Therese.
Hi, Therese.
I'm the only person.
Now, I guess
I'm
it's
right
important
here,
to say,
so-
like, initially, everybody but Lindsay fucking hated it.
I didn't hate it.
Oh, okay, Toby and I fucking hated
I thought
this
it was
movie.
fun. It was
It's
such
fun,
a
but for the
movie.
the worst reason.
Exactly.
But like, it's not. It's not.
I also.
No, it's not a fun bad. It's like
It's so
it's
much
an
fun.
upsetting.
This
bad.
movie
It's
to me
upsetting.
did not feel like 3 hours.
I agree with that.
I
agree
feel
with
like
that.
literally like I didn't check my phone once to check the time. I was fully
I did once.
invested. You did.
I did
okay,
once.
well
I
I
checked my phone.
didn't. Some of the jumps.
about to walk out.
No. Wait, I feel like okay.
Should we like? How do we?
How do we structure this?
Maybe you should go. Each person gives their initial.
Oh, and Toby's
perspective.
initials are gonna take a little bit.
Well,
He's
I'll
the most
start it
prepared
off.
for this. So go crazy, go stupid.
What?
short but simple, I'll say that this is the worst movie I've ever seen. It angers me. It makes me feel like I should quit filmmaking.
It angers you.
It makes me suicidal. It's just encapsulates everything I hate in this world.
We also, side note, spent 45 minutes after the movie giggling about it like fucking schoolgirls because you just can't stop laughing about that.
Who is knocking?
Yo, the 80s
Yvonne's here!
Yvonne saw the movie too.
We're filming.
Yvonne,
So for Toby it goes racism, mass genocide.
Lindsay brought up before shooting the de-aging thing.
Oh yeah.
I
So
think
these
that's a big
films were
thing.
not shot like directly back to back. So Finn Wolfhard looks like he has the little baby filter from Snapchat on him constantly. Which like he's a cute little baby, but like it is a little distracting. And some of the CGI I'm like
It's not. No, because
Not-
he looks taller, and then it's like this
but
kind
then
of
his face
floating
is just
thing on his
baby.
face.
Yeah.
The reason though I was like bringing it up at all is the fact that the kids are better than the adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, this every single time. So this movie comprises. It's obviously 27 years later, but a majority of like the middle 50 minutes of the movie are just flashbacks on flashbacks on flashbacks. So all
Talk
the
about
kids
that
are
middle
featured.
chunk in a little
Yeah,
bit,
but
too.
literally, we will.
Fuck
But
me.
every single time they cut back to like the kids portion, I loved it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
like the
I agree.
cinematography changed, the whole mood changed. Like
Oh, it was great.
I give it.
I thoroughly
give it
enjoyed
2
it.
out of
Literally
10.
someone
I
else
give it
directed
2 out of
it.
10 solely based on when the
A
kids
2
are.
out of 10. Oh my god.
When the kids are on
I gave it
screen,
1.
he gave it a 1 because you
Oh,
can't give
no.
lower. When the kids are
I
on
can't get any
screen,
lower.
it's like the first movie again. It's so
Yeah.
weird. The writing goes back to being good. The
Yes.
direction goes back to being good, and the performances, the
And it's more
chemistry, the
subtle, too,
comedic
like,
timing, it
mind
all
blowing.
goes
It's
back
better
to being
shot.
good.
I think it goes back to being fine. I think the first movie is great, and
It is.
this doesn't get close to how that first movie was.
I think it's
In the
nowhere.
flashbacks.
It's nowhere
Well, that's the big
close to
thing,
it.
right? Is how
Like,
do you
the
make such
flashbacks
a
are
great
good.
movie and then take everyone involved, with, like 2 years later, and then make such a steaming pile of dog shit? Like, how do you do that? How do you take the same?
Slander.
Just because you enjoyed it doesn't
I
mean
had
it's good.
such a fun time.
You enjoyed it for the wrong
That's like
reasons.
not like. I didn't learn anything.
And also
anything about film. I learned
Did
No,
you-
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Because I
So-
didn't know Richie was gay at all.
Well, let's talk about that
No
because
one did.
literally they had so much time to fill, and I still left the theater having questions. I had to look on Twitter, online, look at articles. I was doing like Bill Hader interviews. Like, is Richie gay? Like, did I miss something?
They introduced the theme of homosexuality in the first couple minutes, and then it's forgotten until they're like,
Yeah.
the very end.
And then wait, oh my god, the arcade scene. Okay,
Well,
so
the arcade scene is like, all of a sudden they're just gonna drop on us that Richie's gay?
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Wait, basically Richie is at the arcade with some other kid. And literally, they're done with their game, and they're like dabbing it up like bros, and it's just like a
I didn't know there were a bunch of fucking fairies.
yeah, and then it just went straight out the like it was
a
my god.
fairy.
And then
I'll scrap right now, bro. Like, don't even try me, bro.
It was just so fucking like, why are you trying to look cool in front of like, what is the point of this scene? Just to be like, you're gay, fuck you, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just add like that kind of piece of a character in the middle of the second movie and then use it twice.
No, but
I think the people definitely know their audience, and it's true that the first movie had a lot of fans that are in the community, and it was a big thing on Twitter to ship Richie and Eddie. So then they
but
just
also,
kind of.
I feel like no, because that's
that in the book?
Yes, but there's like subtext
Eddie's
in the
dying
book that
words
people
were,
have
"I
been
fucked your mom."
analyzing since the book came out. So like in a way, it's like the whole new like Tumblr 13-year-old fans, but in another like if you're looking at it from another direction, readers did sort of pick up on that like classic like stereotypical like 80s homoerotic subtext or subtext whatever.
But that's not how it's presented.
It's not. It's definitely not.
It's so over the top and like cheesy and ridiculous and
Like I'm looking
it doesn't
back.
create more empathy for the fucking
When
character.
Richie and Eddie, they have the 3-door thing. They open a door and it's a literal closet. And I'm looking back on that now and I'm like,
Oh my fucking god.
Oh,
maybe that's like another sign. Like I don't know. It's just like drawing for because they never said straight up.
Well, that whole thing is in those flashbacks, and I feel like this is a good time to jump to that middle hour.
Oh yeah.
That middle hour chunk, the artifact part.
Oh my god.
As we call it.
Okay, so
Which is
the
like the
token.
worst.
So I've never like seen the original or read the book, so I didn't know if they just like made that up in the second movie. So I was just like.
Well, the thing is, like, even if they didn't, I feel like it's probably in the book because of how much involvement Stephen King had with this. It's the problem with having the author on and having a 20-minute fucking cameo in the movie, by the way, is like you have to adapt it, and you don't have the room to adapt it when the author is on board the fucking producing
And when the
team.
book is this big.
Yeah. There's this terrible hour chunk in the movie where
Like
every
an
character
hour?
splits up and goes and looks for their artifact, and what it is it's one scene after another of, okay, there's gonna be a jump scare in this scene.
It's literally the
Oh, it's like
same.
mom tied to
somewhere.
the
It's the same
table,
setup.
grandma titties,
Yes.
and it just goes down.
Paul Bunyan sent me.
Oh, Paul fucking
Paul
Bunyan.
Bunyan, that scene.
Oh my god.
if that's-
Oh my god, and the colorization change. Like, why was that the one time? Like,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
the
weird.
whole
Oh, yeah.
world changes color or whatever. Why-
And everyone stops. Everyone else like in the
Oh,
park
yeah.
stops.
is that supposed to be like a scary scene?
Yes.
And then they're all like,
I don't know
Richie,
how
you're
anyone can be
fucking
sick.
gay! That's literally- You're gay! I'm gonna tell everyone you're gay!
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
secret.
And then Pennywise goes, I'm gonna tell everyone you're gay.
Your dirty little secret.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
never even said
That's
it.
your plan, Pennywise? You're gonna fucking out Richie?
Yeah.
Is he a horror villain? Is he gonna kill him, or is he gonna just tell the world he's gay?
Bill's like reading the script. He's like, is this a hate crime?
It's it's so weird. That scene is like, but it's among all of those. Like when fucking Ben goes back to the school. And they like
fatty
they have to
boy,
put the ADR in for the Beverly actress because she didn't want to look Ben in the eye and go, "You're a fat ass and you're disgusting." It's like, oh my god.
Fat boy.
Boy.
All those
Sit-ups.
sit-ups. And you're still just a fatty fat boy.
Bam. You're like, what the
Amazing
fuck?
performance. This is the best line ever.
I literally forgot about that scene in general.
Well, can we talk about
Also, what
I know.
was Mike's storyline?
Oh.
Like
He was not in it.
He had
said he stayed and then he had the
like the only part was the
himself.
crackheads, and I was like,
You know?
Okay, so
you know how
so after like all these artifact things, Mike shows up, and our friend Oliver just turns to us and goes, "He hasn't been in this movie for like an hour."
No, that's how you know how long that sequence is,
Yeah.
because when Mike pops up, you go, holy fuck.
yeah.
About you.
He's like a main
They're
character.
alive.
He's like the first hour core of the movie. He
Yeah.
gathers everyone
Yeah.
and fucking unites everyone.
You
But,
you remember Stanley more than you remember Mike, and Stanley.
No, but let's talk about
Stanley
Stanley.
dies.
Stanley, like, I didn't realize he actually. I thought that was like a vision, like what could have come,
Oh.
like maybe that
they
happened.
don't make it clear in the
They
original.
don't make it clear that he fucking dies 15 minutes into the movie, and then they're all meeting up and they're like, he killed himself.
And then they're like, everyone's like, why? And then
Well,
the
that's-
fool said it, who said that? Like, it's because he's weak. Like,
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Remember that scare? The fortune cookie lines?
yeah,
That
like,
was fucking
that
good.
was against Stanley.
Guess Stanley couldn't
I don't
cut
even
it,
wanna
and you're all
talk
supposed to
about
go,
the
ooh.
Jack
It's
Yeah.
like so
story.
poorly.
But I didn't get it, and then like it was weird because they had like the 5 or whatever fortune cookies. They didn't realize that like one was missing, and they were freaking out already. I was like, this is a lot. I can't follow it.
Okay, so the shot that they use when Stanley kills himself,
Oh my
he
god.
slits his wrist in the bathtub, and the exact angle, the coloring, all of it is the exact shot that got 13 Reasons Why in so much trouble. It looks exactly the same, but it's Stanley instead of Hannah Baker.
Literally, as soon as that sequence ended, I almost turned the turban and was like, "Is this 13 Reasons Why?"
In the
Is this
original
Hannah
It,
Baker?
they like it's a wide of him in the bathtub, and like you see his dead body, and I think he writes it with his blood on the wall.
Yeah, that's what I was
That would've
waiting
been
for.
so
And that
No.
shit is eerie. Like in the original, you're like, oh fuck, and in this
You
one,
get
it's like
chills.
you get like
It's like,
sad, like
You're like, oh.
violin
You're like,
music,
oh,
and,
oh, no.
and he just like
Oh my
he like
God,
crumples
fucking
over
me.
like this, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
and it does feel like 13 Reasons Why. It
It
really
is. It
fucking
really
does.
does.
Because that's
It
the
might
other
be worse
biggest
than
thing.
13
It's a
Reasons
horror
Why.
movie that isn't fucking scary.
Yeah.
There's
It really
nothing
wasn't
remotely
scary.
scary about this film ever.
It's
I
all
don't
entirely
know who
true.
thought
That's because I'm a
There's
little
like no
baby.
though
But
because
the-
I am
Yeah.
a little baby though when
The
it comes to
Paul
jump
Bunyan.
scares.
the whole movie is
No!
the whole
The
movie
Paul
is
Bunyan
just
got me. I almost flipped my popcorn.
because
bro.
who would expect that?
Wait, I want to talk about when Eddie's moment finding in the pharmacy, in the basement of
Oh
the
my
pharmacy.
fucking
I want to talk about that so
Okay.
badly.
The sound cue, the best
I
sound
hate,
cue.
I hate
Oh
that
my
so
God.
fucking much. Okay, so literally, when Eddie goes to the basement and he's
Of
like
the
pushing-
pharmacy.
of the pharmacy, and he's pushing on like the.
This is him finding his artifact.
Yeah, his
which is
artifact.
an inhaler.
I didn't realize that either. He
Yeah.
like, picked up the thing and I was like, okay, he's picking up.
I
his
still thought
meds.
Bill's artifact was his bike.
Yeah,
Get that in there.
Oh my god.
But like when
A
Eddie's.
rock? Oh my god.
I don't even know what the. Okay. Anyways, Eddie's in the basement and he's like pushing on the guy's throat and he throws up and it cuts to slow motion. Music, it doesn't like fade in or fade out. Music just cuts in and it's 15 seconds of this one song.
It's less. It's like 5.
No, it's literally 3 because I remember and the song started, I leaned forward and blinked and it was gone.
It's genuinely like one of those things you have to see. You can't describe it.
And then afterwards,
Because
you're
no
just
one
like,
would believe
It's like they
that.
might as well have just cut to I wanna know what love is because like
That's a song? I don't remember what the song was.
It's like-
Whatever song it is, they definitely paid like 100,000 for
Yeah.
that.
But it feels like an editing error.
Yeah.
It feels like someone
yeah, you
fucked
just sort
up.
of look around afterwards.
The editor was
and
like,
we all saw that. We all comprehended that.
That's
we
the
heard it in
tonal
our
thing, though.
ears.
You're like, what am I supposed to be feeling right
there were a
now?
lot of people who probably had to see that movie before it went into theaters and they all said yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
like, fuck
Perfect.
The producers were like, I really like that. Just like-
Yeah.
So the artifacts, we've covered Eddie's scene. We've touched on Paul
Richie's
Bunyan,
scene.
but
Yeah.
we can't explain Paul Bunyan because it's just like
You have to
It's
see
just a
it.
statue of Paul Bunyan
But he
comes
gets
alive and
large.
attacks
Like his
Richie.
jaw's not
And
there.
then bats
teeth
come
are
out
made
of
of-
his
yeah,
fucking
his
What's
teeth
he
are
mouth.
made
have
of
to
straw.
start with Richie being gay? Like, isn't supposed to be afraid? Was he afraid of Paul Bunyan? Like,
He's afraid of big men.
Oh shit.
When Bill does his thing and then the kid shows up, that's some of the worst acting James McAvoy has ever done.
Oh, like
Which
move
one?
from this house.
He's like,
Get out,
"Leave-
like, tell your
get out
parents
of
to-
here. It's like, oh my god. Like, he's such a good actor. And that's the other thing is how bad all of the 7 are.
I disagree. This is where we.
Jessica
differ.
Chastain was fine. She's the only
Jessica
one that I was like,
Chastain
she
was
was
Bill,
awesome.
Bill
really
Hader.
like-
Everyone is saying Bill Hader is phenomenal.
No,
he's
he's
not.
not.
He's not. He's so bad.
Okay, I feel like they cast
Finn
him
Wolfhard's
more
comedic
vividly.
timing is better than Bill Hader's in this
That is
movie.
Whoa!
Yes.
I agree with that.
Bill Hader is not good. I got sick and tired.
Fuck your mother.
It's part of the script thing because they just
I
keep
fucked
going,
your
I fucked your mom.
Fuck your
Fuck you,
mom.
dude.
Fuck you, fuck
It's
your
just not
mom,
fun.
fuck your
And
mom
then,
again.
Like the whole beginning is like we need to like
We need to
he's
force this the dinner.
Yeah,
The
and
dinner's
he's like
so forced.
he's like coming
Yeah.
up with some like clever insults, and it's obvious that he has like a playfully mean relationship with a lot of these characters. And then
It's just
when the
not fun.
time comes and they actually have to be mean to this person, all he can think of is clown. And I'm like,
No, he said
Wow.
you're truth or dare. You're a sloppy bitch. I was like, I just called Pennywise a sloppy bitch. That's what I call fucking Therese.
It's just not funny.
It's
not
I
funny.
was like,
I remember the line in the original, I think it's Eddie and Richie, and Richie goes, "Are these your birth control pills?" And Eddie goes, "Yeah, I'm saving them for your fucking sister." I was like,
Yeah,
this shit's so funny.
is so
funny.
How is that, like, how is every joke in this movie so unfunny?
wait, except for the one line when I didn't even realize he was actually getting fucking axed in the
Yeah.
library.
Oh,
Who could
the
do that
library
line?
line?
I think Connor could do that.
So it's Henry Bowers, and they're in the library fighting or whatever, and Richie, Deus Ex Machina's it, and fucking kills Henry Bowers.
It's like, this is called
And it
for calling
pans
me
up.
a fairy.
It
And then
pans
he's
up,
fucking-
and he just stands there, and he goes, after he's just committed a homicide, by the way,
Yeah.
and he just goes, "Well, that was long overdue. Get it? Because we're in a library." And you're
Like,
like,
throws up.
what the fuck? I laughed for 20 minutes about that
That was-
fucking
yeah.
line. I sat there for 20 minutes and I cackled. But yeah, it's not a funny movie, and there's no comedic timing.
Can we talk
I
about
laughed
Eddie's
so
last
much.
line of the whole film?
Oh.
I fucked your mom.
So yeah, Eddie dies, but like he's like dying. He's got that
He
cliche.
got
he's like,
stabbed through the spine,
Through the heart.
and he was alive for
and he
like
was
5
like,
minutes.
like
He's
so
like,
long.
Richie,
Yeah.
Richie, come here. I have something to say. I fucked your mom. Those are his last words of the whole film. That's how he dies.
What a
It's
cute love
such
story.
bullshit.
I also liked how throughout the entire movie, the rest of the theater was also laughing at the part.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all laughing.
Because at first I thought it was just us. and
At
I was
first
like,
I felt
oh,
bad,
this is
and
like
then
shit.
I noticed like people were laughing at shit that I don't think you're supposed to be laughing
They're not.
at. Like the movie on IMDb is not listed as horror comedy; it's listed as horror.
Yeah.
It's a fucking horror movie.
Like the
that's-
grandma. Oh my god, there's a shot where this grandma.
It's in the trailer. It's in the
Yeah,
trailer.
it's in the trailer. She literally sneaks by in a hallway and she just like jerks. That's what I do.
That's what I do when I go to the bathroom.
Like shaking it off.
She was just completely in the nude.
She
this
hits
old
the wall.
woman.
It was hereditary. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was
she's
hereditary.
so glad.
I just it's a thing with the. I remember we were talking about that trailer. It was like, how did they make that scene look so good in the trailer?
Yeah,
and
in
then
the
so
trailer.
They didn't show
if you
the
watch-
end.
it's so
if you watch
oh the ending
original teaser.
because the CG in this movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, they didn't
CG
show
grandma
when
titties is
grandma.
awful.
What was,
Yeah.
what was good about the movie?
Nothing.
Shut up.
Some of the shots in the flashbacks were like, alright.
The flash.
Okay, I
Just like
flashbacks
just
were
the
good.
lighting was like nice, and the DP like actually set something up correctly for once.
Burke's saying that I'm not saying that we're not saying enough nice things. There's not much to say, but I would like to give a shout out to Xavier Dolan. For
Xavier Dolan is in it. Yeah,
His
he's
10-minute
beginning.
performance in the beginning.
Rest in
He's
peace.
The worst shot action scene in recent film history when they're getting the shit beat out of them and they just keep cutting and shaking and shit.
I didn't know who was who because of that.
I didn't either. I just figured
But
that
then they
he was
said-
getting beaten up.
Yeet.
When he's floating up and down, and then there's that one little like shot of Penny. Like those are the eeriest moments
Yeah.
when you just barely see him in the background.
Those are
Yes,
good.
like there was like 2 or
with
3
the
of those, and those
firefly,
are
with
really
the firefly chase,
Yes.
and you saw sort of like his face in the background.
Oh,
that
yeah,
I
that was-
appreciated. It
She was a,
reminded
they do that in the, they do that in the
She was a
Funhouse
dumbass kid.
mirror
Yes,
thing,
I
right?
thought.
She's like,
Okay,
"I'll be your
I
friend."
literally. Funhouse mirror scenes drive me crazy. I love those so much. I thought this one was so well
that
done.
was the bad one of the
That
best
was
scenes
a
in the
one
movie.
like
No.
that
I thought that
tension
was
in that
alright. I didn't
when
think
Pennywise is
I didn't think
banging
that
his
was
head
good.
against the glass. But then you think back,
That
that
was good.
entire ass scene was in the trailer, and it was in my
It
opinion one of the
is.
best scenes in the movie.
It is
I didn't like
interesting.
how Pennywise dragged his tongue on that.
Okay,
Yeah. Like that's
I have been in a lot of mirror mazes, and there's not just weirdos in them, right?
Well,
No,
did
You don't
there's
just
not.
run
No,
into
yes,
Well,
windows.
did you
There are.
notice
Yes,
that,
there
that
are.
every time James McAvoy was running and he was about to hit one, he already had his hands out like this? Because, like, as an actor, he was like, I'm about to run into this, so I'm going to stop myself. But, like,
I
they
did
have
like
to
that
figure
scene,
something
though.
out for that. Like, if he would just fucking, knock
It
his
just
head back
didn't
or
make
something.
any sense because
It's so
they were
unrealistic.
shooting it through the glass, so he was literally hitting this glass thing,
Yeah.
and you could tell that it was in the background, like, and it was like, it just looked like they were in like a cage
Yeah.
instead of a mirror maze.
Which is unfortunate because that should have been one of the cool set pieces because there's a lot of bad.
I
set
thought it was. I
pieces.
thought like, of course, that scene like had its troubles. I thought that was one of the best scenes of the movie. I really
Pennywise
enjoyed that
just-
sequence. That's just, and but the
So
fact
much
that it,
blood.
like, I think the set piece really helped with that, because then the blood, like, literally went
But there are
fucking everywhere.
there are a lot of
Gross.
bad set pieces in this movie. Like when there's a kill under the bleachers. That's fascinating. That's so cool to look at. You know, like fucking whatever.
Why was it so dark
The
underneath
basement of a
bleachers?
pharmacy.
Oh, yeah.
I
It's
don't
like-
know.
Daylight.
Yeah.
Wait, was that actually Eddie's mom in the basement of the pharmacy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I still need to unpack
Yes.
that. Like, did she
In
die?
reality, she was there.
Not like
No,
actually.
no,
That was the
hallucination.
That was the
hallucination,
like trick for
Okay.
Pennywise. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was
so
a-
whack.
Around the second hour mark, my expectations for the ending of the film could not have possibly been lower, and somehow they still fucked it
They
up.
made
Damn.
Pennywise into a little it'll be baby.
Little
and then they
no,
just
he
reached
wasn't.
inside.
He was a raisin,
Clown.
dude. Like he was all wrinkly.
Clown.
Some bullshit
They bully
like
him.
message
He
about
dies.
how words
Yeah.
are the most hurtful
I
They
wish,
thing.
bullied him.
I wish they had done more with the whole sequence where Eddie has this like the fence post. And he's like, I believe this kills monsters. I thought that was such a cool idea, and it worked. Except then that was like it. Like nobody picked up a rock and said like this will kill Pennywise, and like believed it, and then went crazy. They just started like insulting him, like you're
They
a
just
sloppy
bullied the
bitch,
bully.
like you're a
You're a
clown, you're messy.
And then
Cancelled.
after that, Eddie dies, and they don't give a fuck.
Except for
except for
Richie.
Richie.
They go
Except for
swimming.
Richie.
There's one thing.
And they go, Eddie would have loved this. Like he died 2 years ago.
No, Eddie would have hated this.
Or whatever, and it's like he died fucking 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Go tell somebody.
Literally,
Yeah.
after they went through the whole sequence of
It's
running
a
out of the
funeral.
house and
It is a
everything.
family.
Wait, does his wife
married
know?
his mother,
His wife doesn't know any of this
His
is
wife
happening.
doesn't
Like at
know
all. She
any of
doesn't know
this
he's
is
dead.
happening.
They're busy fucking swimming and not reporting another murder.
Yeah, Richie was the only one who was remotely fucking upset.
No,
And there was some
I
little-
was just mad they didn't like even bother to take his body out.
yeah, they're like, we don't have time. Y'all
They
don't want to carry him.
After
Let's
they
be
should do,
honest.
pick him up and take him to a fucking
Not
hospital.
even, not even Richie wanted to pick him up. I was like,
Well, they like dragged
They
him
dragged
off.
Richie away.
And then, like
though.
after they got out of the house and everything, he throughout the thing, he stopped yelling.
Richie
and
was the only
everything.
one.
Yeah. They got out and then he starts yelling again. He's like, we have to go get him. And I'm like, you had a house full. Yeah.
And then they get letters from Stanley in which he basically says, I killed myself
So that y'all
could be happy.
I know, didn't make
What
any
the
sense.
fuck?
I feel like it would have been
What
much
kind
more.
of bullshit?
No, I feel like it would have been
It's
so much
because
more
he's-
powerful if they kept it like what it originally was. Stanley was so fucking afraid to go back there to see.
Well, how about that
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But
Well,
then
That's what it was supposed to be. That's
Yeah,
the
that
ending
seemed
where I was
completely out of
The
character.
bar mitzvah
by the
scene
way.
was really weird.
It was really weird.
What?
That seemed
Like
the bar
very
mitzvah
out of
scene
character.
when
Oh, when
Stanley
he's like,
his
I'll
bar
always be a
mitzvah speech,
loser.
Yeah.
And he runs out, and you're like, what? the
And
fuck?
nobody in the audience reacts except Richie. He's
Richie,
like, that's
he's
my
like,
You
yeah.
have
man,
no
that's my
idea what that
man."
scene is supposed to fucking be. And then
Yeah.
Richie's or Stanley's
was it even
head is in
placed?
the fucking.
It was
Somewhere.
the flashback.
There's also a severe lack of Pennywise in this movie. He's barely in it. It's just a bunch of other random zombies, like, and bullshit.
Yeah, there were a
Oh my god, can we talk about
Yeah, you're like, what
He turns
is all
into a
this shit?
spider.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Someone sat there and went, you know what would be scarier than one of the most creepy horror characters in history? Giant Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Who was the name of the character that died in the first one that was driving the car when it gave the knife?
I haven't seen it in 2 years.
The one who's friends with Henry.
Oh, the Adam
Oh, I
Driver
have
looking
no idea.
And
video.
he's a zombie in this
Yeah,
movie.
he's the zombie.
They never come. They never come back with that.
That-
I forgot that.
He's
happened.
under the bed. He's under the bed. He comes out of the hospital.
That jump scare was the first one where I was like, so that's what this whole movie's gonna
Yeah.
be like. Is
Yeah.
just a bunch of zombie heads popping out. Have you ever played Until Dawn?
Oh my god.
It
Yeah.
reminded me of the fucking jump scares in that. Like just the zombie faces and like all sorts of
Like, I wish
dumb-
they had more moments where, like you said, like Pennywise is in the background, or in the beginning when the guy's drowning, they throw him off the bridge. Like,
Yeah.
you see the shot where you're just above the water and you
Like,
see Pennywise
creepy, like,
on the
eerie
fucking
That shit's
on the
creepy.
shore. That was creepy as shit. But then that just didn't go.
I don't get how like Stephen King, who writes horror novels and has to be psychologically terrifying, sees this movie and goes, that captures what I was writing, and sees The Shining and goes, fuck that.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what the
Shining's
fuck
so
is wrong?
good.
This guy doesn't know anything about movies. He clearly knows nothing about fucking movies.
He watched it and was like, I mean, yeah, it's alright, yeah.
I just don't get that.
Yeah,
I would see this and be like, that's not what I wrote. Like, I didn't write suddenly a zombie head pops out.
Yeah.
Or like, I bet you, Ben running into the fucking locker. You're like, oh, I wonder what the fuck is gonna happen here.
Fatty fat boy.
Fatty fat boy. He's fit into that locker.
Oh my god, the locker part with the poster and the way they set it up, it was so obvious that there was
funny.
gonna be a jump scare there. And literally everyone in our line just like groaned.
It's those artifact scenes that you're like, okay, what's the jump scare gonna be in this scene?
Yeah.
And literally when I saw a scene that was a flashback that wasn't related to anything like Pennywise oriented, I was so relieved. I love like the whole hammock scene when they're under in their little clubhouse. Like I thought that was so like it made me feel so freaking good, man. And then like the next scene is just
garbage.
Trash.
Fucking
Grandma titties.
Grandma titties.
Going back to like how much they fucked it up, I really enjoyed in the first movie the scene where he goes into the basement and it's like flooded and there's like Georgie and Pennywise and stuff. Yeah. They basically tried to do the exact same thing.
They did the scene again.
But then it was
the house
so
seemed
much
repetitive.
worse.
For some reason,
worse.
James McAvoy shoots his younger self with a
and then drowns his brother.
Yeah, that's a way of self-acceptance that it wasn't his fault.
I'm so confused.
I was like, I don't know if this is closure.
He's like, it's not your fault. And you're like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, what? Okay, just convince him and then leave. Like, why do you have to fucking shoot him? It's so random.
You lie, I die.
You lied, and I died.
You lied, and I died. You lied, and I died.
Yeah, but the house did seem very repetitive from the last time, like the shaking fridge, which this time had Stanley's fucking head in it that just grew like, oh my god.
It grew legs. But
the
legs.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, a big theme of spiders in this movie.
I would like to talk about the Asian restaurant scene.
Okay.
Because
let's talk about that.
I don't even know what the fuck was happening.
I only saw one.
I think that was the first time I was like, this movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that was the first time where I realized how bad it was gonna be.
Because the scene with Bill and like the script thing, like where the endings are bad, was a bad scene. And I was like, maybe that was just one bad scene. But then I was like, no, this is going to be a bad movie.
Yeah.
You know, the scripting of that scene, it's so forced, and it's so fucking terrible.
And then it like cuts away to the waitress and then cuts back and they're just swinging his shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not real! And he's like yelling, literally breaking the table with a chair.
She's like, but then like that,
is everything okay?
And I'm like,
I'd be like, oh my god.
Fucking destroying our goddamn restaurant.
But,
Did they not pay for it?
But I feel like if they did that scene in the first one, it would have been played like to be eerie, to be like creepy as shit. Like I'm thinking of Bev when like the blood is filling the bathroom and her dad comes in, she's like, the blood's like everywhere, and he's like, what blood? And then you see the contrast between like she is seeing a vision versus like reality, whereas this scene was like, LOL, they're hitting a table. And I'm like, wow, like just the difference, like the jump was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the way that they made those things just like create that weird
that was
little...
That CG was fucking bad too.
So apparently it reached $91 million, and that's second highest grossing horror movie ever.
What's the first?
In the opening weekend.
Is the first one it?
The first one, I'm not sure what it is, but the second one is it, and it's probably going to pass the first one.
Find out what the first one is.
Yeah.
I bet you it's the first it.
Yeah.
Because that thing was like set the record for a September release date. I remember back 2 years ago. Because it's just
that was 2 years ago.
I'll never get over like the fact that the first one is so good and this one. So I don't think I've ever seen such a drastic change in quality.
Yeah,
between two films with the same people involved.
The original It is number one.
Yeah.
And It 2 is on its way to passing.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Because then people saw the first one and were like, oh, this must be what it's like.
Yeah.
And then they get so disappointed.
You better upload this video fast, Connor.
This one definitely has
yeah, I guess.
the more star power as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's just
well, the
so
main.
wasted.
I think the Bill Hader thing is what's going to get a lot of people to see it. Like, because they're other than McAvoy, Chastain, and Hader, like the other ones are just kind of random people.
Yeah.
Like they're not well-known performers at all. The guy who plays Eddie was in like Sinister. So
I
didn't know who that was.
Wait.
I'd only seen him.
No,
in
he
that.
wasn't.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
like
he
a
was
cop or
cast
something.
so well.
Oh.
I genuinely think Bill Hader was not good.
I don't think he was
disagree. I
either.
think he was. I really
I
enjoyed
don't
his
know.
Do you
performance.
like?
He
I've seen
seemed
on
like
Twitter.
he cared about the project so much, and I feel like some of the actors seemed a little bit checked out, but like I feel like his presence was always there in a scene. Although I will say, what's in the deadlights when he gets that, and then he just goes slack and his eyes go back, I cackled. I felt so bad. I was like, I was supporting him, and then that happened. I was like,
bass in this scene.
I'm not saying he wasn't trying, but I don't think it worked.
don't
But I think
it
part of it is how
I think
bad the script is.
He
and,
was.
like, the
He was
direction
so.
must be bad.
He didn't have the same charming quirks and like line delivery that Finn Wolfhard had.
No.
And that's what made that character so incredible in the first one. That all of that just disappeared. Now you're like, oh, he's the same but way worse.
And Richie and Eddie have no chemistry. Like the two actors,
absolutely
I don't think
not.
have no. I think they have no chemistry.
No chemistry.
Can you
They
guys
tried.
come to a concise rating, like an agreement on a rating?
But what
No.
would you said?
Not at all.
No.
You said you enjoyed it, but like, what rating would you give it? Like out of 10?
oh shit. Let me compare it to like. I'm trying to think.
Because I said a 2. You said a 1. Yvonne, I feel like you're closer to us
Me
team.
too, yeah.
A 2? Okay.
I'd go 6.
Really?
Oh.
What the fuck?
I give it like a most of 4.
The fuck?
Because of my enjoyment. Not all the cackling I did throughout the movie goes into a 4.
If you spent your own hard work for money, and you went and saw this alone, you would
I
think this
did
was a
spend my
piece of
money.
shit.
A
You would
six.
think this was a piece of
A
shit.
No.
6 out of
The
fucking
only
10?
thing that's like
I do think I was laughing at it a lot, and I do think that is clouding my judgment. But overall,
Exactly.
if they released a 4-hour version in theaters, extended
I'd
director's
see
cut,
it.
I would see it.
I'd
No,
see it.
that
have to go
is
see
what I'm
it.
basing my rating on.
I
So
wanna-
the average rating is a 3 out of 10.
Yes.
That seems right.
There we go.
Yeah.
That seems
That's
correct.
enough.
Lindsay fucks it up.
Yes, but it's
Okay.
still very low.
it's still the worst movie I've ever seen.
I don't know about that.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, wait. Well,
I
there's
really-
a discussion up
it's
now. I love
close.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen
Bohemian
it.
Rhapsody's another day. I don't
love
know.
it.
I've seen worse than this.
Are we
Bohemian
making-
Rhapsody
are we
is
making
directed by a
another official
pedophile.
At least this movie's in focus.
Oh.
You know, like it,
Ah.
all right. I think that's pretty.
Little like, subscribe, comment down below, all
What
that
do
kind
you
of
say?
stuff.
I'm just gonna let Burke say all that. He get here.
Yeah,
Come
he
here.
said-
All right.
Come sit on my lap and tell people to
All
like
right.
and subscribe.
This is Ice Cold Films with your host, Connor.
Where is he?
I don't know where he
Where's
is, but
Connor?
please like, subscribe, comment down below.
Where's the
Send you
charisma?
back.
Oh, fuck.
Thanks for watching.
Bye guys.
Good night.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.
Don't go see it too.
Don't
See
Instead
it
go-
and then get back.
No, you have to go
Go
laugh at it.
watch.
Go laugh at it.
Go rent Booksmart. Go
Booksmart is
watch
very good.
literally
Yeah.
any
Watch
other
Midsummer.
movie.
Watch 12 Years a Slave.
Watch
Why not?
Midsummer.
Oh,
watch any
perfect.
other
Why not?
movie.
You know?
Just for it.
If this gets a contender, we're gonna be back on here yelling again.
Oh wait, it does
Look
not deserve a
forward.
contender. It does not.
All right.
People think Bill Hader should be.
Bye bye.